Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. We're out here this morning on the lower end of Lake Cumberland Reservoir. It's about 55 degrees this morning. Weatherman's saying about 69. It's pretty windy when we put the boat in the water. Wasn't supposed to be any wind, so I don't know what the weatherman's been smoking, but we'll deal with that later. But anyway, I've set up in a cove, kind of a little creek. It's got two forks. The water's about 53 degrees up in here. On the main lake it's about 51. So, you know, we've had a lot of rain. There's a cold front coming through. They're saying tomorrow morning we're gonna have frost possibly. So I'm hoping these fish are up in here. Gonna be in water around me. Up over there's some water about 17 feet. Back out this way is a hole. It's about 40 foot. Over here on the other side is a drop-off ledge. It's probably 60 foot over there. And then right over here in the mouth of this little creek is about 25 foot. So kind of going to have a little bit of everything this morning, hitting different depths. But we're going to get some bait cut up and get poles out and see what we can do. Be back in a minute. Oh yeah. There's a good body chunk. Check your drag, because now them drag brake discs are real bad if they get a little bit of sand or sediment or anything in them, seize up a little bit, and that'll cause you a real problem. Now we're going to fish up in here with these lines for I'm going to try for about an hour and see what happens. If nothing don't happen, then probably going to put a couple suspended baits off the side of the boat and a couple of dragging rigs on planer boards, and maybe drag bait on a float 10 or 15 foot down and drag this holler out. This is a pretty long holler. There's a lot of different depths, a lot of different contours. There is a lot of timber in here. I wish I had fresh skipjack, because there's a lot of timber in this place, and this could be a real good place for a big flathead. But like I said, all I got's frozen skipjack. But for right now, fingers crossed, the wind's working with us, and I'm able to hold the boat on with a spot lock, and it's just staying right where that I've got it put. All right, guys, it's 9:30. Still haven't got a hit up in here. Seen some fish break out here in front of me. I'm hoping it might be skipjack. I'm going to make a couple of casts on them and see if it is, and see if I can hook one. That'll be a lot better than frozen. See if they'll take interest in a little white jig. The wind is supposed to have laid down, but it hasn't. It's blowing this hard up in this cove. Probably pretty rough out in the main lake right now. Little dink bite. Probably a little blue pecking away at that head. Too little to get enough of it in his mouth for the hook to go in. Swim off, little buddy, and go tell somebody else that's bigger to come after you. All right, y'all, I've decided to change strategies here. We still fished here in one spot for about an hour and a half. Just little dink bites from small blues or channel cats. So we're going to start dragging, try to drag out on this holler. It's got some pretty good points and different terrain changes under the water. So we're going to see what we can do that way, but I want to show you real quick. Now this was the rig I had that big head on, okay, and I had a bottom sinker on it. Just took that sinker off that sinker slide. Put that back in here. And I'm going to snap a drifting weight. Right back on there. And now I've got a drifting rig. I love these things. Alright, we're going to come off of spot lock. And we are going to go to cruise at 0.5. Okay. Now, get back here and we'll put us a couple planer boards on. Well, still nothing, so we decided to go ahead and change up how we're going to run. Got a couple of planer boards out the back, and I got a rig under a float at about 25 foot straight out the back of the boat. Got a head piece and a chunk piece, and I cut a fillet piece out because a lot of times that'll make a difference. They'll get a flutter in the water and they like to see that. So we're just going to keep pulling and see what we can come up with. Guys, I'll just tell you, I don't know. We fished in the head of this holler in a cove that come off to a point, and now we've pulled this for a mile, still ain't got a hit. Hung up a couple times, still no hits yet. I don't even think we've had any small fish hits. But I'm going to keep pecking away at it, see what we can come up with. I found a little bit shallower water here, about 23, 24 foot deep. If I can keep from getting hung up, might accidentally scare one up on this ledge. Been some birds diving off on shad over that way from me on the other side of the river here. I'm going to swap over to that side shortly. There's a cove here in front of me about another 200 yards that I'm going to pull. And then I'm going to cross over into that area where them birds is diving on that bait fish. They're in here, guys. It's just this cold front after come through last night started coming through, and things have changed. They stick to the bottom. I've marked a lot of big schools of bait fish, but still no hits. All we can do is just keep trying. Well, it's 12:30. It's nice. Almost no wind. Probably, I'm going to say close to 70 degrees. Not a lot of boat traffic. I've seen a few boats, not many. Most of them were going upriver. No fishing. I found a lot of schools of shad. I found a couple of schools of what I think were gizzard shad. I've drug through depths from 17 feet to 80 feet. I think the problem is when need to be able to get in an area where there's a lot more shallow water. I just kind of come up here today right at the dam and decided I'd try off a few of these long hollers. It's pretty close to the dam, but they're real steep banked, so there's not a lot of opportunity for shallow water. There's a boatload of bait fish in here. There's tons of shad and probably gizzard shad and maybe a few skipjack even up in there feeding on them. But I'm not marking any fish unless they're stuck down in the mud because of that little bit of cold front that come through. It wasn't that severe of a cold front, so I wouldn't think it would be that. I just think this is a matter of we're in the wrong place at the right time, and we should be somewhere where there's more shallow water and a flatter bottom. And again, like I said, I didn't come prepared. I didn't put any extra fuel in the boat today. All I done was just basically come out to get on the water and try to drag some and hope to get one fish or so. To this point, that hope has been a nil. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to stay probably till 3 or 4 o'clock. If I don't get nothing, I'll keep trying till then, and then I'm going to call it. I don't like to give up, but you know, a whipped horse is a whipped horse. It's 12:30 now, and the only thing we've had is just a few little small bites up in that shallow water, and they weren't even big enough to get the bait in their mouth. Well, y'all, I stand before you defeated. We still fished this morning for about 2 hours in one spot. A few little taps from small fish, nothing big enough to get anything in its mouth. I dragged for 2.5 miles, water from 15 foot to 60 foot. Never marked any fish, never got a hit. Marked a boatload of bait fish. I never seen so many bait fish in this area in my life. But the catfish ain't here. I think the catfish and the stripers have now already moved up into the deeper water. I didn't think they would have, considering all that cold weather we'd had, or into the shallower water, I mean. But I guess they have, so that was a miscalculation on my behalf. I did not come prepared to go upriver. Didn't put any extra fuel in the boat, and so on. So that was a mistake I made, and I hoped I could bail myself out by at least catching 1 or 2 moderate fish up in here in this deeper water in the head of these hollers and around the points, but they just wasn't having it. But anyway, guys, there it is. I stand before you defeated. I gave it my best. I tried to catch a fish so y'all could see it. Wasn't happening today. Wasn't God's will, but it'll happen again someday. I promise you that. It's the Fat Man. I'm gone. Hey guys, if you liked the video, hit subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell so you get notifications the next time we put out a video. Appreciate you. It's the Fat Man. I'm gone.